till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. See the horizon turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And
walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul.
Invincible.
There is the bell. Good morning. Good morning. What is going on, everybody? I hope we're having a good one here so far today. Let's go. The market's actually pulling back a little bit, but I've been loving the way SPY has moved lately. A lot of great PA. There's a big resistance overhead, though, at 550 today. That's going to be a big level to break above in my eyes. It's going to be hard to go too bullish until that breaks. Let's go, let's go. What's going on, everybody? I know people were watching Google and Intel on their earnings last night. Google did pretty good, of course. Intel, not so good. Intel definitely has me worried. It's at major support now. Again, very close on the daily. It actually didn't move as much as I thought it would. I thought maybe we'd see a little bit more PA than even this, but I guess the day ain't over yet. Drinking the vitamin water today, one of my favorites. Good morning, Pew Pew, Chase, Jamie, Toby, Hunter, Eric, Christian, Jossie, Yuli, good morning. Back to the SPY here. I'm gonna pull up the Mag 7. Not bad. Nvidia's tanking, but Apple and Microsoft have done pretty good so far. The hell? Nvidia, what are you doing? Man, Nvidia, that's a lot of red. Nvidia's in the bottom left, down here. Amazon, down in the red as well. Kind of brutal there, looking at the watch list. First thing today, Pony up 16% again, Pony. Man, this stock just keeps having great moves. AbbVie reported today. They're moving up a little. They actually reported this morning, one of the only ones to really watch for. AbbVie. I guess CL and PSX are pretty good too. I like Colgate, you know, that's a pretty good dividend stock. At least it used to be. You know, I haven't kept up with them totally in 2025. I'm sure that they still pay pretty well. So far today, lots of consolidation. That's a major resistance on the SPY. I would not be surprised if we saw a bit of a pullback come in today. I'm praying for a hold, but wouldn't be surprised on a pullback. 550 is huge, though. If we start to see a good rip past that, that's where the real opportunity will be. Michigan consumer sentiment data should be coming out in around 25 minutes. Looks like they're expecting a big drop on that. PayPal keeps going up, Fab said. PYPL. You know, it looks pretty fire today, Fab. This one looks awesome, actually. PayPal, PYPL. Very good PA on the daily. Even intraday, I mean, starting to break above that recent high, pretty awesome. I like the prospect of it continuing here. Really not terrible. I'm getting in a SPY 550 call, Robert said. I don't think it's terrible, Robert. I don't think it's terrible. It's trying to bounce up here at 546. It'd be awesome to get higher this morning, like 549 to 550 for that retest. Let's go, SPY. You've been pretty strong the past few days. Let's keep it going. Keep it going here. Just for a short profit? Hell yeah. No reason to go too crazy. I like that. Ryan said, good morning. Cool off a bit today. I'm not going to say it's going to totally cool off quite yet. Definitely still have some possible bullish action today. We'll see. One thing I've really been looking for the past few trading days is a clear move and hold above 547. Today would be a huge day for the SPY to close above 547 in my eyes. You don't like the VIX is green, but downtrending on the 5-minute. A little weird action because of the SPY pre-market as well. Going back to the watch list here. Google up 3.62%. Going to be watching them following their earnings. They're trying to hold 164 support here. Pretty big level for them. Hopefully we can see that continue to hold. Tilray was up a little bit again today. What happened, Tilray? Oh, there we go. For some reason, it didn't pull it up the first time. Maybe I spelled it wrong. I didn't think I did, though. 2.99%. The weed stocks. CGC was moving higher in pre-market. Trying to bounce a little bit again. Very interesting with the pot stocks. There hasn't really been a whole lot of news with those either. I actually did something last night that will surprise a lot of you guys. I downloaded that new Oblivion game. Hell yeah, I love Oblivion. I used to play it back in like 2010 and 2011. And yeah, it was like one of the very first like big games like that I ever played. It was pretty cool. I downloaded it last night. Maybe I'll try it this weekend or something at some point. Maybe. Playing golf tomorrow morning though. Always playing golf on the weekends at least once when it's hot out. Nvidia's back in the green, Robert said. NVDA. Hey, there we go, up 1%. Looking solid, Nvidia. Check out the Mag 7 setup. Tesla really roared back around. Let's check out Tesla. That looks nice. New high of the day? Well, I lied. High since open. It's kind of getting close to the high of pre-market, though. Tessie, roaring back to life. This is where the opportunity is right now. Getting very close to resistance. This could be a good breakout if it ends up breaking. 265 coming into play with Tesla. Gonna go over to the book map. Oh wow, it just wiped out the sellers that were at 265. They were quite a bit. There was 110,000 volume there as it touched 265. That's pretty nuts. There was more than that even around that level, but just on that initial hit, 110,000. That's crazy. Craziness. We'll see if it ends up holding or not as resistance. I don't know. With how strong it was, I wouldn't be surprised if it broke, but you can see it's reacting really harshly so far on it. As we can see with that big wick there on the right side of the screen. That is a crucial level. 265. Already pulled back like $2 from it. Pretty crazy. Tesla pretty volatile today. Sure, I'll show you the SPY. I normally don't look at it though because there's a lot of noise on there. As we can see right now. You want to see 550? Okay, let's see. All right, so 550 does have a little stack of sellers, but honestly, it's not really that much compared to volume in the moment. So I don't love ETFs like SPY on the book map. They normally don't show that much because with the with the more popular tickers, especially SPY, we got to keep in mind like market makers and algos are like going back and forth like super quickly. I mean, they do on many things, but especially these, you know, there's so much going on that you got to be wary looking at levels like that. Sometimes you can find some decent ones, though. Either way, we know with the SPY, 550 is going to be big in our eyes anyways, so... PayPal bookmap, groovy ass, for sure. I'll pull that one up. PYPL. I finally found some music that they let me play. Can you believe it? Watch it be I say that, and then they're gonna get me now. Maybe there's something that you're not allowed to say the word music. That would be... Nobody's typed anything about music. Oh, I don't know why I screenshotted it for you. Here it is. Muzak. There you go. Groovy said, that's a loose description of what's playing. I like that. That's funny. Nvidia bouncing a little bit here at 107.70. 108 resistance coming up into play. Nvidia, though, trying to hold its ground. I like how it popped it open. That gives me some confidence. You know, better than a complete sell-off, that's for sure. Tesla's on that big resistance, having some issues at it. We're going to need to see some Mag 7 starting to break out. We're seeing a lot of pullback at resistance right now. And that's starting to weigh in on the SPY. SPY's starting to turn over a little bit with those big tech stocks. Look at the Mag 7 charts here. Lots of Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Google, Nvidia. Tesla's starting to reject. Apple's the only thing that's kind of holding its ground. Just barely, though. Very flat. Man, I must be starving today. Hopefully you guys can't hear that. My stomach is like growling. I'm looking at apples here and I'm like, I could go for an apple. There we go, Apple. Nice green candle there. Still holding up in its range. Apple new high of the day. At least new high since open. Rebroke. There we go. Not too bad, Apple. Amazon's trying to hold its support. Meta's bouncing off 540 a little bit. Microsoft doesn't look the best here. Nvidia not either, but Nvidia is at 107 support from pre-market. This will be a big hold if we can get these stocks to hold these supports as they turn over. Nvidia is definitely on a pretty clear level. If it breaks down, that's where I'll get a little bit more worried. Go check the QQQ. 467.60 rejecting a little bit. It rejected there right at open, and it's touching again. SoFi on a rocket this morning, Fraz said. Seriously, 4.3%. Very nice PA as well. Just straight to the upside. That's what you want to see. Nice, SoFi. How's a firm? Not too bad. Not too bad. PayPal, maybe? That's a pretty massive pullback here by PayPal. It's starting to look fairly bearish on me here. With the way it's holding under these supports and the way it just re-broke down again here, not the best sign, but we'll monitor it. Monitor that one as the day goes. As always, PayPal, pretty popular ticker here. Tesla still rejecting at 265, having a lot of problems up there. That was a big spot. Big spot for Tesla. Chase stepped on a snake last night. Unloading the car in the garage, it literally climbed up into my wheels and coiled up. Probably gonna Uber everywhere this weekend. Chase said, great song. Hell yeah. Yeah, Chase, one time I walked out into my garage and I'm not kidding you. There was a black rat snake just sitting on top of my car. On top of it, slithering around. Freaked the hell out of me. I tried to figure out what kind of snake it was. And the funniest part was is that the snake couldn't get good traction on my car for some reason. I don't know what it was, like the paint, or maybe because I had it ceramic coated or something. It like couldn't get traction and it couldn't like move well. So I had to take this thing off my car, and in the process, it climbed into my engine bay. And I didn't know where it went or anything that happened with the thing. So what I did is I turned on the car and I just left it. I just turned on the car and just left it running for like 30 minutes. And I still never know where the snake went to this day. No idea. That was the craziest snake thing I've ever had happen, though. It was a pretty nice snake. I should have just picked it up. It probably would have let me pick it up. I was trying not to kill it because I was hoping it would kill like mice and shit. Oh, Chase goes, I hate them. Oh no. Give us a new meaning to serpentine belt. Or serpentine belt. That's funny. Some extra snake oil lubricant in there. Citigroup and the banks trying to bounce a little bit here. Bank of America, $39.80. Not terrible. $40 coming into play. Pep's below 134 support. There we go. Pepsi selling off in a great way. It actually sold off under 134.50. Came back up for the perfect confirmation on that secondary drop. What a good continuation by them. Pepsi to the downside. KO also to the downside. A lot of the value stocks selling off today. We go to the heat map. Nike's down 2% apparently too. Yeah, Robert. SPX holding up in the green just a little bit, huh? Barely. Barely. It might not be green for long with the way it's starting to turn over. All right, this will be pretty huge on SPY here. I've been seeing this little trend, you know, today. We'll see if SPY can hold this or not. This will be a big level for SPY to bounce off of. If it ends up breaking under this, I'll be pretty worried today for a pullback. Big support at 544. But this trend is pretty crucial. I would think if we break the trend, it'll probably break 544, but we'll see. Reacting really well off it so far. See how it goes. All right, SPY, we gonna get the bounce? Go CSCO, Cisco here. Go back to SPY on the 5-minute, watch it on this trend. A little bit more. Give me 1 sec, guys.
Over the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done.
Man, SPY bouncing on that 545 support, though. Chris said, U.S. pharma news. 25% pharma tariffs would increase drug costs by $51 billion yearly. Did see a little bit of news with it. I didn't see too many headlines on it, though, honestly. Today. Trump did say he spoke with Xi, though. Hey, there we go. SPY holding the trend so far. Nice green bounce. Still holding it up. Nvidia holding 106.40. Bouncing back to the upside a bit. Pretty great PA and movement. Check on Tesla. Trying to come back a little bit. Go to Mag 7 real quickly. Go back to SoFi, which was on fire earlier. Pulled back a little bit. NNDM climbed up the watch list. Nano Dimensions up 8%. Getting some great movement this morning. Kind of low volume, it looks like, though, but at least weird PA. BBAI 5%. Touch resistance, it looks like. BLNK. Blink charging moving a little bit. Aora Cannabis up 3%. Our quantum stock starting to move a little bit. QUBT looks pretty good intraday. Wow, QUBT. Very nice price action. Quantum stocks. QBTS down around support. Let's check IONQ. Down around $28 at the moment.
Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use.
Uber 1.5%. Uber's in a very weird setup today. What is this? Is it flagging up here? We getting a little bull flag going on with Uber? Whoa. I'll be watching for a potential breakout up above here with Uber towards 80 bucks. This looks pretty fire. I keep adding alerts on TradingView and they don't work. I don't know what it is. It's like their servers are bad or something, and I right click, I add alert, and it just doesn't work. Even if I click the plus here to create an alert, it just doesn't pop up. What the hell? It works in the afternoon though, but in the morning it doesn't work. Come on, TradingView. Don't make me start having to give you some bad reviews now. Mine too, all my alerts disappeared overnight? Really? That's annoying. I think they're having problems with it for sure. Somehow. Look at Uber though, holding out and above this. Let's go, Uber. Let's see some good PA. This looks pretty fire here. Moved pretty well today. It'd be nice to see a high of day break. It needs coffee to kick in. Speaking of coffee, I haven't looked at Starbucks in a little while. Looking at the daily chart, Starbucks pulled back quite a bit.
Shining through, it's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through.
Checking on Palantir. Palantir looks fire here. Great job by Palantir on the recovery so far. 110 is going to be coming into play here. This is a big resistance on Palantir. Watched it last night even. There's 184,000 shares there at 110. Whoa, look at this weird like sell wall that came in and then left really fast. Very weird. That's so weird. They had their orders in for like a couple minutes and then took them away. Palantir though, 185,000 shares at 110. This is a huge, huge resistance. SPY trying to hold that trend, still moving to the upside off of it. Look at that. That is pretty weird. What a hold. For now. I must say, for now, but getting a good bullish PA above 107. All right, Michigan consumer sentiment data just hit a minute ago on the SPY. I guess that's what kind of got it going a little bit there. Nice green action. Came in at 52.2, not as low as expected, it looks like. Yeah, that's not bad. Not terrible. It's at 52.2. The estimate was like 50.5, I'm seeing. They're reporting. 1-year inflation expectations are 6.5% instead of 6.7% estimate, so. All right. Pretty good. Came in a little bit better than expected there, which is nice. $5.45, good bounce here. Let's see if SPY can hold up, though. It'll need to really hold its ground here and start pushing towards that high of the day. We need the Mag 7 to keep going. Nvidia's trying to get it done. I like the way it's setting up. Amazon trying to come back from the grave this morning. Same with Microsoft. Little V-shaped recovery with Microsoft here. V-shaped action. Let's go back to Palantir at 110. Gosh, it's getting close again. Looking at more news coming in. Just more headlines about that Michigan consumer sentiment data. Sonia said Apple calls. Jerry said, was there news with Apple? Not that I saw, but I'm sure there's something. Let's see. Apple always has something going on. Apple iPhones will cost more. Apple plans to shift U.S. iPhone production to India by next year. Now, that sounds like a pretty good headline. The Financial Times reported Friday. Okay. Apple is preparing to manufacture nearly all iPhones sold in the U.S. at Indian facilities by the end of 2026. To meet the target, the company would scale up its Indian output to over 80 million units annually. That's a lot. Yeah, that sounds pretty good, Chase. I like it. I'm sure that India news helps as well, for sure. Let's go see HIMS. BTC to 100K, Aller said. BTC USD. Wow, all the way up to 95,000 this morning. Looking great as it's breaking 92K. You know, it's breaking right through that resistance like it's nothing. Like butter. I could see 100K soon. I would not be surprised at the way it's moving right now. Christian said Tesla looks good. Hell yeah, Tesla. Wow. 265 with the break. I knew it was coming up for a test. Ended up getting right through there. Let's go. That was fire. Very nice by Tesla. Broke the double top. Awesome. $266.50. Boom, there we go. Check on MicroStrategy, re-breaking up as well. Let's go back to Tesla. Really had some good PA. Let's see what kind of resistances are coming up now. Man. Somewhere close to your like 267, 270, pretty big resistance. I like 270 a bit more. It lines up on the chart really well around 271 though, which is kind of weird. There's another good peak up there around 275 to 276. A lot of touches there on the peaks. There's been so many weird movements with Tesla though. It's hard to really get a support level that stays super strong. We can see that it loves to touch like just before a lot of levels, and then sometimes it'll break just slightly, and there'll be weird wicks through levels with Tesla. Pretty volatile, I would say, I guess. There we go, though, keeping it going. 268. 270 is probably going to be the first next like major resistance coming up. Looks like 268 shows a little bit of sellers on the book map to keep in mind with. 52,000 shares stacked at 268, but I think it could break given the momentum here. Could. It just wiped them. We'll see if it keeps running. Hell yeah. Through by about 50 cents now. Okay. Right through 268. 270 will be a big one here. Wow. Amazing PA. Gonna grab a quick drink of the vitamin water while we watch this baby play out. Fantastic. Brian says IONQ, big news ripping. They're starting to pull back a little bit on the 1 minute, but they did have some huge news there. They actually halted for like 30 minutes. What the fuck? What kind of news is that? They secured $22 million deal with EPS establishing Chattanooga, Tennessee's first quantum computing and networking hub in the U.S. Wow, that's pretty good. Up 8% on that. Damn. That was a good move there by IONQ. Sonia said AMD. Advanced Money Destroyer becoming Advanced Money Dispenser in the short term. Amazing price action back to the upside here. I love the possibility of dip buying AMD in the short term. $95 resistance coming into play right now, but I would not be surprised if it broke. We are seeing lots of good PA out there right now. Tessie, 269, almost to 270 now. Getting close, within $1. SPY at the high of, well, high from open. That bounce off that trend was perfect. Very nice hold. Got a lot of Mag 7 action. Gosh, Tesla really stole the show there. Riot, $8 calls. CEP with the continuation, Spacely said. Riot looks pretty good for calls on the daily for a swing, honestly. If you can withstand a little bit of chop, like have some time, but not terrible. CEP with the continuation. Cantor Equity Partners. This one was a hilarious one from earlier in the week, but it did continue pretty well. It's not quite to where it was yesterday, but it's setting up quite well. It looks like it might go for another run. Based off the current pattern here, I wouldn't be surprised to see it start to break at some point. Watch out for Tesla at 270.
Just like the street lights lit this time.
270, there we go. Starting to break. The momentum is real here. Man, Tesla. 270 really going here. Hey, let's go, Robert Nixon. Tesla through 270 like it was butter. Like butter. How high can we go? It's got to slow up a little bit at some point. $280 has a decent stack, 275. Nothing too crazy though. All right, Robert, appreciate the question. Thoughts on JNPR 36 strike calls? Expiration 5/16. Earnings is this week or next week, and IV is very low. Thanks for all you and Mike do. Got a place because of y'all. Let's go, Robert. That's awesome to hear. So JNPR, Juniper Networks. Looking at the charts here, JNPR is in a downtrend, but I actually like the prospect of it potentially moving higher off of this downtrend. I'll explain what I'm talking about, but he said thoughts on 36 strike calls, JNPR, expiration's 5/16. Now, the 5/16 expiration is tough. Earnings are always 50-50, okay? If JNPR earnings are bad, you'll probably wake up and it'll just gap down to like $30 or something. You know, it'll probably try to fill that gap to the downside. Now, if the earnings go well, I could see it filling this gap here back up. And I do like the way that there's this nice support here on JNPR where it keeps bouncing. And it's close to like a lot of these previous resistance levels. So I think it lines up really, really well right now on said support. So as long as it keeps holding support for you, the setup is definitely there, and the risk-reward ratio is also there. I would try to maybe get more time if I were you. Maybe out to like July or August. If you're going to really try to swing it, it would definitely help with the risk overall. You said IV was low, though. Let me pull that up. You know, it is pretty low in the grand scheme of things. It's pretty low. I'd say like kind of middle ground. It's not as low as it could be. It's not as high as it could be either. This is a weird stock with a lot of gap ups and gap downs too, which is a bit weird with it, but I love the way it's holding that support. I think there's a good possibility to play it up here. Just remember that earnings are always inherently risky, okay? If you're going to swing, especially the short-term dated calls at 516 through those earnings, you're going to have to be just very careful and mindful that, hey, if the earnings go against you, you're probably going to lose the majority of that position. So keep that in mind. But I like the setup overall on the daily, and it's not the worst stab to take here with the support coming into play. Like I said, I suggest getting more time so that the earnings don't affect you as bad, but that would be my main gripe of that one. I like your strike, though. 36 strike. Really, it's very close to the money. Not quite in yet, but if we do get in the money, it'll be looking good. It's very close. Appreciate the super chat, though, Robert. Hopefully you like that analysis there on JNPR. I don't know too much about this company themselves, like what they necessarily do. Hasn't been one I've really ever looked at. I don't even have one drawing on the chart for JNPR. I found the PA to be pretty interesting, though, how they've been chopping around this zone. QUBT did not like the Chattanooga news, it seemed. Oh, our competitors to IONQ dropping on that news. Oh, man. You know what? IONQ really pulled back, though. So let's see. They started ripping at 10:06. Let's go see QUBT. When did QUBT start dropping? You know, QUBT followed them up for a few minutes and then fell. So I don't know. IONQ gave back all of its gains, too, so that kind of sucks. Let's go back to Tessie. Slowed up a lot here around 270. $272 and $275 are next here. Wow, Tesla. Such good action. We will get some slowdown eventually. Maybe it'll be here. SPY starting to pull back at that high of this morning. It tested 548 and is now stuck and pulling back again. Right back in the middle of the range. Gave back like all the gains from that nice run that it just went on. Trump banning congressional stock trading. Was that some news today? I didn't see that one. That would be a pretty big piece of news, though, I gotta say. Mike just posted breaking. Trump announced that he will sign a ban on congressional stock trading. Oh, there's the headline. Now I found it 7 minutes ago. Nice. That's pretty awesome. I like it. I think it's okay. You know, they need to have some rules and regulations anyways. A lot more than they currently have. Hopefully this at least gets the talks going, no matter what they decide to do. I think that's really what he's doing, is that they're getting it going, and it's going to end up being a big negotiation probably, but we'll see. We'll see what they come up with. I know there's a senator from Missouri named Josh Hawley. Josh Hawley. I saw some news a little while ago that he was going to be reopening the bill that they did. I wonder if that'll be something Trump looks at too, but either way, I know that Missouri senator was definitely one of the big proponents of this, and this was even earlier, like last year. That they were coming out with these bills and stuff. I guess it didn't really get anywhere, but now that Trump's starting to push it a little bit, it'll probably end up getting some traction. I know, right, Yusus? There's no breaks. There's always something with Trump lately. I saw a lot of people commenting on the YouTube videos that people wish that Trump was more like Biden, just falling asleep and just letting things go. Exactly, yep. Go check on Nvidia really quickly. Pulling back to around 107 at the moment. SPY broke under the trend, guys. SPY broke under the trend. It'd be funny to see the roles reversed if Trump was the sleepy one and Biden was full of energy. That would be pretty funny. I couldn't imagine Biden on stage doing the stuff Trump does. You're definitely right. That would be funny. Maybe in an alternate universe. Palantir bouncing around 108, 108.30. I guess we could call it 108.50, really. More of where it bounced and where there was a lot of bounces today. They had that good move towards 110, but just barely broke out and then said, see you later. Pulled right back. Tesla, book map, please, Lethal said. Tesla, a little downside action here. TSLA. Yeah, 272, 275. Yeah, rejecting a little bit here with Tesla. There's a lot of resistance overhead. Tesla's not in full-blown bear mode yet. We'll have to see if it pulls back under especially 268. That's where I think we could start to say it's pulling back a bit more. But if that keeps holding for now, you know, it's continuing to bounce in a pretty decent way. It's not super amazing, but pretty good. No problem, Lethal. There we go, Tessie. New high of the day. Holy shit, I missed it. I looked away for half a second. New high of the day. $275, 102,000 shares stacked up there. That's pretty bad. Okay, 1 sec, guys. Quick intermission. I gotta go grab some drinks. My daughter's going nuts. Give me 1 sec. Quick intermission. Oh, man. Google. Amazon, Microsoft, back towards the low of the day. Oh, no. All right, all right. 185.50 on Amazon. Look at Tesla really roaring to life up there at the top. My gosh, Tessie continuing to roar. Holy. Tesla 274 coming into play. That's a big jump by Tessie. 274 coming into play, guys. Wow.
Like a Hellcat.
When do we hit the put on Tesla? I don't know. I'm not sure I even would right now. I would definitely err on the side of being cautious. Yeah, be cautious with that today. Let's wait for like 280. 275's coming into play now. 280 would be pretty dang hot if we could get there. Here's 275 on the book map. Like 111,000 shares there. Wow. 275 might be a bit of a slowdown. We'll see. This is a pretty big level here. It's been breaking these like butter today. MSTR looks pretty fire. Like it's going to break its high of day as well. Come on, let's see it. MSTR. Every time I say this, I think of Mr. or Master. I really think of Master. I don't know why. I don't think of MicroStrategy. Like McMaster Car or something. Hopefully we can get some good golf in tomorrow morning. Monster for me. Christian says, I call it Master. Yeah, I agree. It looks like Master to me. There's a famous trader calls himself Master. There it is. I'm not surprised. Calls himself the Master. Does he call himself like just the Master or like the Chart Master or something weird? The Scalp Master? The Option Master. Honestly, those aren't some bad names if you were gonna like come up with like a random name or something. Not too bad. Well, speaking of Master, it's falling down right now. It couldn't get through that resistance. Come on, Micro. Let's go. I'm taking myself to GNC today to buy some products, Christian. You'd be happy. I've been trying to, you know, get a lot more protein and stuff like that going. I've been feeling good with golf this year. I haven't been as hurt every time, which is nice. I can actually play. Like, my wrist isn't hurting all the time. My back isn't as bad. If that hurts, I can deal with that, but... Anyone remember Ed Bassmaster? Ed Bassmaster. Hell yeah, pew pew. You know what? Ed Bassmaster came to St. Louis to do stand-up like a year ago, and me and my buddy went on a double date, and we went with our girlfriends at the time, and we went and watched him. It was funny because he came out on stage with like all these weird characters, you know, like Skippy and all those guys. Not the best stand-up, though, I'll say. Tesla up to 275 now. Coming back for the retest. Pretty quickly. Retesting 275. We'll see if we can get through. Or see if it ends up being a bit of a double top. I know, right, Rook? 7 goals. I was so excited. Christian, what's the name of your supplement brand again? Or is it just apparel? I can't remember. Isaac said, what do you think about this Palantir pullback? PLTR. $108.50, okay. That's awesome. He's actually come back. He's been doing some collab videos. Hey, that's cool. Yeah, he's pretty cool. I like him. I thought his content was really good. There's Tessie through 275, guys. Getting it done. Getting it done. There we go. I said I'm moving too fast, didn't even get a glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like 7 goals though by the Blues, that was fun. They need to get that series at 2-2. All right, Tessie. I think 278 to 280 is going to be where I start to say, okay, this is where we're getting a little overextended now. I don't see too much more past there. It's always possible, but... There's a big resistance up around 290. Where recently, you know, on some of these better days, we have seen Tesla, you know, shoot up from like 260 all the way up to 290 within one day. It's not like that is totally impossible or out of the equation. Christian said, best deal in the game. Is that the name of the company? If you posted a link or something, it didn't work. My Avs need to finish it tonight. They play way better at home. Hopefully they can play better on the road here. Coming up soon. I'm not a huge fan of like the whole home road stuff, but it definitely plays a little bit of a difference. Give me one more piece of good news, Mr. Walter Bloomberg. That's pretty funny. FBI arrests Wisconsin judge accused of helping illegal immigrants hide from ICE. Wow. All right, let's see if 280 starts to slow Tesla down a bit. Gonna be testing it probably in just a minute. Tesla is still roaring to life. Bearish from here, Kay said on the SPY. Not really at the moment. It's still held 544. Really held support in a great way. That was a crucial area.
Thank God that the brothers on the rise now. Endless celebrations all in my house. Levitating now, I'm super duper fly now. London boy, but DC where I reside now. Put the time in while you always yelling time out. And for quit it, cause I know I'm coming with it. You were sitting, you were wishing I was handling my business. Now I got the ball like Harry Potter playing Quidditch. And my business is humongous, you would think that happens in there. Damn man, I'm all that, yeah, I'm all that. Working for that whip, yeah, that what you call that. I'ma blow up in the summer, have him yelling fall back. And I've always been ahead like an effing ball cap. Man, I came in the game like, whoa. Got a couple chains on me cause I like gold. They told me I'm the best and I told them I know. Cause when I'm in your town, every ticket I sold. Yeah.
That was a big level to hold, SPY. 544. That was huge today. 544 wouldn't have held. That would have been pretty bad. See if it keeps holding as the day progresses, but I do think that the SPY could end up turning around sometime soon here. As it's moving up, I'll explain why. We can see how SPY's been kind of forming this trend of lower highs today. Even from pre-market, you know, just continually kind of trending lower. Even though we're getting decent bounces back up time and again intraday, there's still like a lot of this trend to the downside. And I am watching for the potential of another lower high to form here, at least a little bit. And my thought is that the lower high maybe hits somewhere around here, then we have a little pullback towards support, and then maybe a subsequent breakout maybe later in the day. Now, we won't know if it exactly bounces exactly like this or not, of course. It's a rough estimate of maybe how the price action could go, and a rough estimate of just showing, okay, maybe if we start to break above this lower high trend, we can start to get going back to the upside intraday. To the same side, looking at SPY to the downside, I'm not going to get too bearish unless 544 gives out. If that gives out, you know, we might start to see more of a pullback, and that's where I think we could have more advantageous price action to the downside. For now, still kind of shifting to the upside. You know, looking at the Mag 7, not terrible. A lot of them are coming back. They could turn over more, but we'll see how the day progresses here. So make sure to react accordingly. Right now, the SPY is kind of in no man's land in my eyes. No opportunity for entry really right here, in my opinion. Aller said bear trap. Hey, nice, Demure. Little profit on Friday and the week with a smile. There you go. Hopefully. I saw some Lego tanks for sale on my Facebook, Demure, and it made me think of you. It popped up with an ad and it said, "We don't sell normal Legos." And I was like, what? I bought some Legos for my nephew, and it's so funny. Now the thing's out here telling me that... It's weird. It's out here telling me that... Trying to sell me, like, German Legos. It was like German tank Legos. I was like, what the hell kind of ads am I getting? QQQ bouncing 467.50, holding its ground. Oh, I should. He'd probably enjoy the RC tank. NASDAQ trying to hold this 467.50 support. It would be pretty good confirmation to hold this and bounce. At the same time, though, it's kind of looking like a head and shoulders pattern, which would be pretty brutal to see. Hopefully that pattern is bullshit. Back to Tesla, still moving up. The 1 minute candles are still pointing higher. Watch for 280. That's going to be the next big level here. I could actually see Tesla slowing down at 280. I could actually see a pullback there. But 290 would be the like absolute top in my eyes today. Unless some Tesla news hits or something, but you cleaned Jaeger's tracks last week, took him for a walk around Coronado, and the little kids were around him. That's funny. I wonder if that ever scares the parents, like if they're like, oh no. I'd be scared you made a little tank bomb. That's what I'd be scared of. I'd be like, get away from there. They're pretty chill. Yeah, that's cool. I watch too much war shit. I'd be scared that you're building a little device. Isaac said, knew that Palantir pullback was real. So glad I took profits. May re-enter if I see a good bounce off 107. Awesome, Isaac. May re-enter if you see a good bounce. You know, that's probably pretty smart. Nice job taking the profits. I also like 107 as well. You know, if we do see a good hold there, that could be a good re-entry point. Really. Smart trading, Isaac. Re-entry is always on the table. Some people forget that. I know so many people that just hold and hope because they don't want to have to re-enter. They don't think that they can re-enter or whatever. Or Jaeger's still slow. Oh, still slow. Darn it. Jaeger's gonna need a new engine. A new ticker, Demure. I'm looking for 2050 on Intel. What do you think, Tom? Shane said. Intel, $20.50. Wow. Pretty good intraday recovery by them following that earnings drop. Fairly good. 2050. You know, that's a pretty decent level. I could see it possibly getting there. It's not my favorite to try and play Intel on this move back here. It's just, since it was more bearish overall, I'm scared it's going to get flat at like one of these resistances before that point. But there is good intraday momentum. I got to give it that. As long as you are risk averse and you have a good stop loss somewhere under 20 bucks, like let's say 1995, or you stop out if it pulls back to like 1990 or something, it's not terrible. Appreciate it, bro. Had not been in the Discord, I would have held and hoped. You all made me what I am, I swear. Appreciate y'all, boys. Let's go, Isaac. Thanks for the kind words. Hell yeah.
All right, all right, all right.
Appreciate that. I wonder how JNPR is looking here. Juniper still keeping them on the radar from when Robert asked about them earlier. I know, right, Christian? It's annoying. It won't come up. I just saw www. That's so weird that they won't let me see. QQQ really held that 467.50 support well. It did start to bounce there. Remember, we talked about possible confirmation off of this and back up. It'd be beautiful to re-break this high here, but we'll see if it comes. This is a crucial resistance that it's stuck at. It needs to get up and out of here. I like how Microsoft's trying to hold 387. But the rest of the Mag 7 looks kind of rough, like Tesla kind of turning over. Google a little bit, Meta down. Apple's holding 207, but looks like it's going to break down. There goes Google with another weird candle. Let's see, lots of chop here at this zone. Lots of chop coming in there. Ford actually trying to break out. I can't believe it. Ticker symbol F. Trying to break above yesterday's high of the day. F can be a bit weird, but it can move pretty well sometimes. I gotta say, out of a lot of the setups today, it looks pretty good. Probably going to try to come up and test resistance around 1020, if not even 1040. That'd be huge. Come on, Ford. How's General Motors? Pretty good as well. Not terrible. Better than a lot of others today. So J-Bass, if you're doing a trailing stop versus a trailing stop limit, the trailing stop limit is going to have a trigger mixed in there, okay? That's going to be the main difference there between the trailing stop and the trailing stop limit. So the trailing stop, if you have a limit on that, the limit is pretty much like a trigger price. So what you're going to do is set it up in a way where as the stock gets to a certain price or the option, it will trigger your trailing stop to start, if that makes sense. Whereas if you just put on a trailing stop, it doesn't have to trigger to put the trailing stop on. It just puts the trailing stop on. So that's the difference there. There's going to be a trigger with that limit. It confuses a lot of people. I recommend most people do not use those and just go with a normal trailing stop. Just put a trailing stop on. And then they said, whenever we talk about let your runners run, does that mean let one go and you can walk away? Not necessarily let one go. Oh. Damn, I am lagging. Little lag action here. Wow. It's almost like I'm getting DDoSed or something. The fuck? Probably the perfect time to end the stream, eh? Probably so, I guess. Honestly. As it's messing up, but essentially, J-Bass, you don't just get one and then let one go. I would say, like, what you should do is, like, let's say if you're gonna talk about letting your runners run, a lot of times that means, like, scaling out. So, like, if you have 5 contracts, you might exit 2 of them at 30%, and then another one at 50%, and then another one at 80%, and then another one at whatever you want. You know, like, you can watch, like, the stock and, like, you know, maybe say, okay, we're getting towards resistance. That's where I'm going to sell out. Something along those lines is what I really like to do. But I would just scale out, you know, letting runners run, or it's essentially like saying, okay, you're going to scale out and you're going to scale out a certain amount and then just let the rest go. And that doesn't mean you just walk away, but, like, you know, you let it go up to, like, certain points or etc. You don't just, like, hold it all day or anything by those means. But yeah, I hope that it helps explain it. Try and explain again. Yeah, so if you have a trailing stop and a trailing stop limit, there's a trigger there. Okay, if a trailing stop limit has a trigger tied to it, so you can't have your trailing stop start until it triggers with that limit. So I always just recommend just use a trailing stop. A trailing stop would be much easier. As soon as you put it on, it just starts trailing and it goes. Whereas if you do anything that's like a trailing stop limit, you have to have a trigger price. Whereas, let's say the option gets to a certain price, then it triggers the trailing stop to start. That's kind of how that works. It gets a little confusing. I would watch some videos of guys setting up those orders if I were you. I recommend not doing it. I never set orders up in that way, ever. I just put them right on. I never do limits or anything like that. It gets confusing. It takes too much time in the moment. Now, I do limit orders. Don't get me wrong there, but I don't do like a stop limit or a trailing stop limit, for example, because they have that trigger associated. And sometimes it can actually screw you over as well, but yeah, so it's not like you would just let one go and then hold the other and just walk away by any means. You know, you would still, like, monitor it a little bit and stuff along those lines. No problem, J-Bass. Yeah, we only have one future set. Thoughts on MSOS? Oh no. MSOS. Pretty good price action in the short term. We've actually been seeing MJ stocks rip lately. CGC, Tilray, ACB. They've been starting to come back very well here. on these daily charts, ACB is one of the best, and MSOS is one of my favorites. There's MSOX, which I've never really looked at this one. It says it's a MSOS leveraged ETF. Oh, wow. So this one reverse splits over time, probably. Yep. But yeah, they're pretty hot right now in the short term. I think that MJ stocks are moving up because shorts are covering. You know, we started to see these stocks get very low, and I think that there's a lot of shorts that are starting to cover on these, and it's causing like a bit of a short squeeze, we'll say, in the short term with these stocks. But at the end of the day, these stocks can trend pretty well off of news also. If you see any like crazy news like that come out, then definitely watch out for that. But alrighty, guys, we're going to call the stream there. I appreciate you all for joining up this morning. Thanks as always. We have the best community out there. Thank you for always joining up and having great conversations and keeping it nice and chill and light here on the live streams. Thanks to everybody for joining up, even the lurkers out there. Let's go. Hopefully we can end this Friday and end this week with some nice green notes here. I'd like to see SPY pop up to end the day. It looks pretty good in my eyes. I think it's looking more bullish than bearish, but it has been pretty flat today, back and forth. But I definitely lean more up than down. All right, let's have a great one. I will see you guys in the Discord. Thank you.